Hi, today I want to talk to you about the 5 unique selling features that make products, nature-themed products from Log Cabin Leather by Jan stand out in a saturated market. I'm going to talk about, again, the importance of why you need to stand out. I'm going to introduce you to my brand if you don't know who I am. My brand is Log Cabin Leather by Jan. I make handmade leather goods, and I'm going to give you an overview of the 5 unique features that I really think make my products different than what's on the market there. Okay, first of all, quality and durability. Handcrafted versus mass produced. Mass produced products are all the same, they're cookie cutter products. You can get some very fine leather products. Unfortunately, today, a lot of the leather products are not true leather, or they're very poor quality leather. They're laminated, they're not solid leather. And that's one thing that sets my products apart. My products are all solid leather. Everything I make is made one at a time. Everything is handcrafted by these two hands and only these two hands. Um, I create my own patterns. I cut everything out. I buy whole hides of leather, and it is premium leather, and I cut it out myself, or I have to draw the pattern, and I do have a machine that will help me cut out the small, very small patterns called the Glow Forge. So my work is unique. You're not going to find it anywhere else. It is not mass produced. I make things in small quantity batches, limited edition collections. I usually release 3 collections a year, and everything is different. My work is original. It's hand carved and painted, which is not, you don't see a lot of that out there anymore for leather workers. Now they have a lot of leather that has like a pattern design stamped into it, but it's not as unique, it's not as detailed. So again, the carving and the painting is really what sets my work apart from other leather artists out there. And I do consider myself more of an artist than just a leather worker. Again, my products are 100% real leather. They're cut from premium hides. They are built to last. They are not, you know, these thin pieces of leather that they're gonna, and sewn together, so it's gonna fall apart in a matter of weeks or months, depending on what it is. Um, all my leather is sustainably sourced. I buy U.S. hides. Most of my hides that I use for my nature themed products come from Ohio. It is U.S. hides. They are tanned in Mexico and then sold here in the U.S. They are from the whole cow is used. It is sustainably sourced. It isn't, the meat and all the parts of the animal used, which is important to me. That goes back to my influences with the Native American culture and preserving the earth. So that's important to me as moving forward. And that is what my products are like that. Again, they're eco-friendly, the tanning, the finish, and um, the paint and everything, so that they are eco-friendly. And the tanning process, they are vegetable tanned leather. And if you don't know what that means, it uses it uses plant matters to tan the leather. Oak is one of the main ingredients. So oak acorns have a lot of tannin in them. It was something Native Americans started many years ago, but it also, the tannin from the oak preserves the leather and tans it, and that's what gives it the molding and shaping and painting abilities. Whereas other leather, which is what, again, a lot of the cookie cutter products you're going to find are more of a chromium tanned leather, which uses salts, which makes the leather more waterproof when it's finished and things like that. But it doesn't have the capabilities of molding, painting, shaping, things like that. All right. So next thing I want to talk about is my original nature themed designs. They are the second thing that makes my product stand out from others, on other creators out there. Everything is inspired by the natural world. From a very young child, my next door neighbors used to get National Geographic magazine. And although I was, not capable of reading the articles really at that time, I loved the pictures of the animals, and that always intrigued me. And once the magazines were old, they'd let us make scrapbooks and stuff. And I got fascinated with animals. My mother was a bird watcher, and I still have her book here that she got in 1964 when I was 6 years old. And Every bird she saw that was species that she had seen for the first time, she would mark down in this book. And if you notice, I have lots of bookmarks in this book because I use this when I'm painting the birds to get them realistic and things like that. So I use this bird book. And now, since my mother has gone, I have taken over marking the book when I see different birds. But that's really what's inspired a lot of my collection, my love of birds. A lot of my products are related to birds. I have a whole feather collection. Again, this is just a component of one. That's the shape of a hummingbird's feather. Of course, a hummingbird's feather would be smaller than a dime. So yes, it's much larger. And then it will have a couple hummingbirds in here, which will make it 3D because it will be a separate piece added onto there. And it will be painted and carved like a real feather and so forth. So those are some of my products that are very unique. I have them on, I don't know, 15, 20 different birds. They're all birds that generally I have seen around my house or that I grew up with and things like that. So my mom really is an influence on the birds and so forth like that. My dad also, when I was 6, we bought a place up in Lake Winnipesaukee here in New Hampshire, which is where I live, and I fell in love with loons. So loons became my passion, and many, many, many products I have made over the last 4 decades have been about loons. This is a tennis bag I had for my father. Again, original design. Has a loon carved on. This was made in 1980. And see, it held his tennis racket here. He had an oversized tennis racket, which was something that was popular at the time. Hand stitch, original pattern, original design. Stands the test of time. So again, my father, the loons and stuff, is still a big influence. My sister was a butterfly lover. And I think that kind of was influenced by my grandmother also, which, again, she passed when I was very young, so I didn't really know her. But making things with butterflies on it. My sister's always buying me things with butterflies on it because she's obsessed with them. And so that really has become my passion because there's so many beautiful colors. And I love painting the little details. So I do lots of that's a hair clip. I do lots of little earrings, necklaces, things like that are based on real birds, real butterflies in this case. And that's, again, what makes my things unique. They are realistic and so forth, based on nature. A lot of my scenes and so forth are based on here in New Hampshire, the beautiful scenery, the ocean, the lakes, the mountains, the rivers, the valleys, has really influenced my art and so forth. I was also a teacher, and I taught kindergarten, and I was lucky enough to be able to set my own curriculum. So I always did themes. So my themes were always kind of science and nature based, teaching the kids about insects and animals and things like that to get them in tune with the natural world and the earth, and to teach them to take care of it and preserve it if we wanted to take care of us, things like that. All right, so that was number 2. Again, the nature theme design. I have things with leaves, butterflies, birds, different kinds of wildlife, but so nature themed things. I work at an Indian museum, and so I also teach about the plants and the healing purposes and the building materials and so forth. So that's where the love of the leaves and so forth. So I do things like, that's a red oak and so forth. So different necklaces that are shaped like flowers and leaves and things like that. I started some things with orchids and stuff like that, flowers, some home decor as well as jewelry. So I have different things like that. A lot of these things make great gifts for any kind of nature lover, bird lover, butterfly lover, wildlife lover. I have some very unique items there. All right, next, again, is the hand tooling. That each thing is carved, which these are not yet, but this will be carved. So when it's finished, it will look like the outside will look like the real feather and be painted like the real feather's bird. The little birds and the detail inside are also, carved and painted and things like that, depending on what type of product I'm making. And that no two are exactly alike because they are all hand painted. So you're getting a really special, unique gift that no one else is going to have. And they're not mass produced. Again, small batches and things like that I'm making it, okay, different size, different a quantity of that same butterfly or whatever in different sizes at the same time, things like that, but small quantities. The other thing is kind of personal. Everything can be personalized. And I think my products tell a story. As far as jewelry goes, you have your choice of hardware and things. I make earrings, for example, with studs. I make them with wires. I make them with a gold finish. I make them with a silver finish. All the finishes are hypoallergenic. I do not use sterling silver or gold, although I do have those options if that's what you want, for a higher price point, of course. So I have the Julia Gold finish. I have butterfly earrings that are singles. I have butterfly earrings that are like doubles. Things like that can be studs, can be wires. So you have a lot of different choices there. Necklaces, I have in a couple different styles. I have what I call just a strand necklace with the butterflies or leaves, for example, on that other one hung just on a string. I have other ones where other pieces hang down from the centerpiece here or whatever. And so forth. All of those are on adjustable cords. So you have lots of choices there of how you want it to fit. If you want special options, I will do that too. Like one person wanted a special word engraved on the butterfly. I can do that. So I do have custom options other than just the finish and the hardware and things like that. So I can do that. And again, my products really invoke memories in people. And that's what, again, for gifts, again, the bird things remind me of my mother. The loon in particular reminds me of my father. The butterflies, remind me of my people, places, things like that. Teaching, memories of children when I taught. Most of just the smell of the leather usually evokes some kind of memory. But I think a lot of these, if you know anybody that's in tune with nature or really enjoys nature or whatever, these products are really going to appeal to them and are going to be something different that you're not going to find somewhere else. And they connect them to nature. I think they inspire you. You certainly get lots of comments and things when you wear the earrings and so forth. And of course, if you notice, I am not wearing any because I am allergic to metal, so I cannot wear the earrings. That is one of the reasons the necklace is on a leather cord, because I can wear that. I do make all sorts of, other than the jewelry, I make home decor, which is very unique. Like I was showing you part of the feather. I make things with deer, moose, bear, bison, different flowers and birds and things like that. So I have a variety of products. Again, if you can't wear earrings, there are still some other options for the jewelry. I also make bracelets, things like that, barrettes. What are those here? Hair clips, things like that, pins. It's a little, pin. So there are different choices there for different people. I offer some gift sets, some individual items. So I do have many different choices, and I do, customize things for people. So the colors, the size, engravings, initials, things like that. Larger items like book covers, I will do for custom orders. But again, I need to have specifics. I don't have any set prices for those because obviously it depends on what you want. I used to make a fantastic line of hand-carved book covers with nature scenes, mostly which were inspired by New Hampshire here. People don't buy book covers like that anymore. So custom orders, if you want something like that, you tell me the size of the book and so forth, and it's going to be a slide in. The book is going to slide into the cover. So if you use the cover, the notebook particular up, you can slide another book into it and still continue to use the cover. My original book cover was made in 1978, and I don't have it here because it's in my car because I do in-person events, and it is packed to go to my next event. So you have a lot of flexibility in the designs. Everything I make is 100% leather, other than the frame, if it's something that I have on a wooden plaque, or the hardware. Everything is 100% leather. That's it. Again, they connect you to nature. They all remind you of the outdoors. So it's a nice way to bring the outdoors in the wintertime. If you're in a place like me where we get a lot of snow and stuff, and the winters can be long. it kind of inspires you and makes you hopeful about spring and what will come and so forth like that. But a lot of things with wildlife and birds in the natural habitats, things like that. And the butterflies I make are found worldwide. Again, related to when I was a teacher, we'd study different, like the rainforest and so forth. So some beautiful. The colors are what attract me, and that's what attracts many people to my products are the colors, because they really stand out, which again makes them different from what's out there on the market. Again, and everything I make is inspired really by real experiences. Like I just had to say, most of the birds in my feather collection are birds I have around the house. The few exceptions to that are a loon, because I'm not on water, a bald eagle, although we do have them in the area. I have not seen one in my yard, and a red-tailed hawk. I have a red-shouldered hawk in my yard. I don't have the red-tailed hawk. And a blue heron. Blue heron and the loon and the eagle I have seen around there. The loon and the blue heron we used to have in our previous house. We lived on a pond, and the blue heron would fish off of in our front yard. And those are incredible to listen to. Just the sound of their wings when they take off, they are huge. That's an experience. I have seen the bald eagle a few times just recently, so that was really exciting for me, because I had never seen a live bald eagle, but their population is increasing here, so that's really exciting to me. The butterflies, again, we have some butterflies around here, the monarchs, the swallowtails, the Luna moth, things like that. But a lot of those are inspired by when I was a teacher and studying like the rainforest and pictures and books. And, I'm always butterfly, I'm looking things up. I'm trying to find beautiful color butterflies and things like that online, Facebook groups, in all honesty. And again, sometimes I think some of those are not the real colors, but I have painted some of those that I found pictures of and kind of replicate. But I do research things. So the feathers that I do, again, I have a book on the bird feathers and the shapes, and that's what I'm using when I'm trying to color. And as you can see, I have many, many pages in this book marked of all the birds that I do. And a lot of the other things, like again, the scenes and so forth, were things, and again, I know that doesn't show, and that's the only thing like that I have in the room at the time. Nature scene themes are inspired by the mountains and the lakes and so forth here in New Hampshire, which New Hampshire is absolutely stunning. It really is. I have not traveled very much, so that is a basis for much of my work and so forth. But I think a lot of my products tie you back to nature. If, my mother was a bird lover, so when I make the things about the birds, it reminds me of her. When I pick up that bird book to look at of course, it reminds me of her. But having the product in your house reminds me of that person. The loon things, which I have lots of around my house. My dad and I used to do a count where we counted how many loons. They were in endangered species, and so that particular kind of bird. So keeping a watch and on the lake and counting them on a certain day and time and so forth like that was something we used to do together. So I have lots of memories of him related to the loon. So that really keeps me close to him. And he was my best salesman. He used to love to go to events with me, and he was a really good salesman. He was in public relations, so he was really great for that. And I was not, especially at the beginning. So those are the things that, and I think for most people, just my products, they remind me, oh, I have that kind of bird in my yard. Oh, my mother, that's her favorite. Things like that. It's a unique gift that other people are not going to have, that is going to inspire some sort of memory, things like that, or connect you. If they're a bird lover, then things like that, it's going to connect them to those memories and things like that. I still have things that are very old that I had. This is something I made my mother very early on, carved pictures of different kinds of birds. And these were patterns I did get from a leatherworking book. But the design of this box was something my mother had sitting on our desk in the front hall. And so it was made of cardboard or something, but I made, design my own pattern based on that to make this what I call a letterbox, desk organizer, and so forth. Again, the products are going to last. So they evoke memories, they bring memories, they keep the memories coming. The butterflies, I think, bring happiness. That's, native culture, colors bring happiness. Well, that's to me true. The colors bring happiness. It reminds people of their love of nature and things like that. And a lot of times the smell of the leather reminds them of the tack room or the horseback riding lessons they took or their grandfather's barn. So my products remind me, evoke memories of all sorts. So that's another thing that I think makes them a little bit different than what you're going to find in mass-produced products. The paint and finish I use is eco-friendly. So all my nature-themed products are entirely eco-friendly. Like I mentioned earlier, the leather is vegetable tanned leather, which is tanned with plants, not chemicals. So it is biodegradable. It is eco-friendly. It is not going to leave any footprint on the earth. Same thing with the paint is water-based paint. So it's not going to hurt the earth. Same thing with the finish. Everything is water-based and so forth. So it is not going to hurt the environment. And like I mentioned earlier, this leather is ethically sourced and things like that. So it's not going to leave an environmental impact. And that's important to me because of my connection to the American Indian culture. I am an educator at a Native American museum. And so teaching and about the connection to the earth, which again, where is my connection to the plants and the animals that were, everything is connected and everything is important and things like that. So the fact that the leather is biodegradable is important to me. Not to mention the other factor, which, it's the only leather that you can carve and paint and mold and things like that because it has to absorb water and things like that. So that is part of it too, but really it's close to my heart. Again, everything is environmentally safe, so it's not going to cause any harm. I know pets getting your products, which has happened many times to customers and stuff. My dog ate that Christmas present I just bought for my mother. I need another one. They like the smell of the leather. What can I say? It's not going to harm them. It's not going to harm them. I mean, not necessarily recommended, but it's not really going to harm them or anything. All right, so that's pretty much going to wrap it up. So now I've gone over the 5 reasons I think my products really stand out from those on the market: the quality of the leather, the quality of the materials, the original designs, nature themed, the customized options where you can have different finishes and styles and sizes of things. I didn't mention that. My feathers, like they come in different sizes. So one is more of an ornament size. This is more of a home decor size. You have different choices there. My products tell stories. They evoke memories, things like that. And last of all, they are sustainably sourced. So they are going to leave no environmental footprint. So thank you very much. The importance of these brands with a purpose. It's crafted to reflect a connection to the nature. They're durable. They're unique pieces of art. They're great gifts for gift lovers. And so the holiday season is coming up, which is the next thing I want to talk about. I launch 3 product lines a year. I have my fall kind of holiday product launch that will be coming up in October. And this year I'm doing things a little bit different. In the I'm going to have a special early bird access. All my collections are pretty much limited edition. So what I'm going to have out for this collection, if you sign up for a special email or email list, you will get a preview of the collection before it launches, and you will be able to pre-order, I should say, items for the collection before the collection actually launches. You'll have access to a little gift guide catalog and so forth, and you'll be able to pre-order the items before the collection actually launches. And that way you won't miss out on the limited edition items and so forth like that. So that will be coming up. If more information on that will be coming as I move forward. I also, at any time, you can join my email. There's usually links at the bottom of whatever you're watching this on, and you can join my email. That gives you access to special discounts and deals and offers that will also get you the information about this, the pre-sale, the first time I'm doing the pre-sale. So yes, anybody on my email list is going to get access to that if they're interested and so forth. They will still have to sign up. So that will be coming up there. So stay tuned for more information on that. So now I'm going to wrap up. The final thing is answering a couple questions that people sometimes have. Again, I've really discussed this with what makes my designs different from other brands out there. First of all, everything I make is an original design by me. My pattern, my design, the style of the bag is something I create. I make the pattern. So I might look at another pattern, but then I draw it and cut it and so forth myself. My work is inspired by nature. My use of color really are things that make my product stand out from the others. And the connection to nature that they inspire. Now the question is, how long do these products last? Well, again, this was made in 1980, so it is 44 years old now. I have my original notebook was made that same year that I still carry around to my shows. It's my catalog. My original product I made in 1977, which was my leather vest. I still do wear it, that as well as in my car. It is going to last. The worst thing for leather is really getting it soaking wet. I make things like belts and stuff too. So if you go swimming with your belt on all the time, it is going to dry it out. So really, dryness, water and drying out too much are kind of the enemies of leather, which is kind of ironic because it is water that you need to work and to make all the products I create, I have to use water. But it also can dry it out. So a couple little tips here. If you have a leather necklace and the cord starts to get a little dry, which again, I have a medicine pouch I wear around my neck. This is on 24/7, except when I'm taking a shower. So yes, in the summer when it's hot and things like that, the cord does get dried out. You know what you use on it? Hand lotion. Rub some hand lotion on it. Leather is really skin. You want to soften it and moisturize it. So that is going to work on something like the cord. For the leather pieces themselves, if they get really soaked and the shape flattens out, let it dry a little bit. But also when it's wet, just try to pinch it and form it back into the shape you want it. If you pinch it and mold it and so if I took this piece and wet it and shaped it and pinched it, it's going to stay that way when it dries. So if you've gotten a pair of earrings and obviously you shouldn't, but you took them off out on your porch and then it rained and the wind blew and they ended up sitting in a little dish of water, and so it kind of made them flatten out a little bit because they got too soggy. Just let them dry partially, and while they are damp, reform them like that, and they'll be fine. So again, they're eco-friendly. They're not going to hurt anything. They're not going to hurt the pets. They're not, things like that. So they are environmentally safe. Do I do custom designs? Yes. I will do alternations to the things I have here. You can select your own finishes and things like that. Special custom orders, I will discuss it with you. Right now I have a dream catcher behind me that's a special order. Someone else is interested in a knife case, which is a little bit out of my, what I do on a regular basis. But, I'm willing to try things. So I haven't got back to that person quite yet. Another person wants me to make a vest, which is like my original vest, which of course was made 47 years ago. So that type of leather isn't even available anymore. So I'm looking into what I can find and, if I really, what the cost of that product will be, because that vest was originally hand sewn, because that was when my first product. I didn't have a sewing machine that would sew that, and things like that. So I will do custom orders. If I don't think it's something I can do, I'll tell you. But alternations to the things I make, I certainly am interested in doing. And again, I've already discussed why my connection to nature is through my love of animals. I live out in the country. I enjoy being peace and tranquility, listening to the birds, hearing a loon is my very favorite. But again, taking pictures of the wildlife, seeing the butterflies in my yard, you know, all that is really what's inspired my art and the beauty of New Hampshire itself. So that's about going to wrap it up for now. Again, join my email if you want to stay in the loop of what's going to happen next. Again, I'm not the most consistent about the emails. I'm supposed to send them out once a week. I'm not always as good as I want, especially if I don't have a whole lot going on at the time. I'm trying to figure out what to put out there. But please bear with me. Please like or follow me. I'd love to share or subscribe to my channel. Sign up for my email so you'll be able to see the pre-order for the new collection and things like that. That's the first time I'm going to try this, so we'll see how that goes. Hopefully I should be promoting that very soon and letting you have more details of that. And that's going to wrap it up for now. Thank you very much. Once again, this is Jan Hibbard from Log Cabin Leather by Jan. Thank you. Have a nice day.